Everybody, TK here, TK and Drinks, and we've got another Inside the Mead Maker's Studio coming at you tonight. And as you know, Inside the Mead Maker's Studio is a show where we dive into the world of mead. Whether you're a seasoned brewer or just curious about the craft, join me as we explore the art, science, and passion that fuel this ancient drink. In each episode, I'll be bringing you insights, interviews, and everything you need to know to enrich your mead experience. So let's get started. Tonight, I'm going to be speaking with Mike Fuson. That's a pretty cool name, Mike Fuson. Sounds like an action hero name. Mike Fuson from Mead Hall Company and Swarn Brewing. What's going on, Drinking Horn? Appreciate you guys popping in. And they're out of said St. Charles, Missouri. So as soon as Mike pops in, we'll get him on here and crack into some of these meads that he was so kind enough to send over. We've got let's see here. We've got Currants, which is, I'm guessing, a black currant mead. Otherwise, they've really missed the mark with this name. Mead made with black currants, yes, and aged in oak barrels. So really dig that label. That's pretty cool looking. Like the kind of groovy hippie art looking thing going on there. And then we got the Rise and Shine mead with coffee. Mead with coffee. So I'm excited to try both of those. And coming in as well, since they are a brewery and a meadery together, they are hitting us with the Honey in the Rye IPA. Excited to see what that one tastes like as well. So hopefully we can get Mike on here pretty soon, and we'll get going straight away with all this really good mead. Well, we'll find out if it's really good mead. Fingers crossed. Always fingers crossed that we got good mead. So again, got some new headphones going in there, so let me know if my volume levels are too high or too low, if you can hear me like breathing too heavy or anything like that. Just try to get these things dialed in. So appreciate y'all's help with that tonight. Dirty Bird, what's happening? Always appreciate you popping in. I keep wanting to open one of these meads and start drinking it straight away, but specifically saving them for the show. So I probably should have got something to start the show with, because I'm impatient and I really want to drink. It's been a rough week at work, and I could really use a hefty mead right about now. So I am, maybe I missed him popping in there. Let me go see. Does not look like, does not look like Mike has popped in yet here. So see if I go send him a message over on the computer version and get this guy popped in here. There we go. Tough week at work. Put a mead on it. That's exactly it. Put a mead on it. Right there. That's where it's been tough. Right in the face. You keep just getting hit right there all week long. So I have to put some mead in it, but that's gonna have to wait for a second. Oh, there we go. Mead Hall has popped in. So, and of course, it's not gonna let me send a join request. Oh, I love the technical difficulties that plague the internet, specifically my live streams. Hopefully, let's see here. Are you joining from mobile there, Mike? I hope so, or well, I don't know. I hope so, but I also hope not, because if not, then we've got a much bigger problem on our hands. If you're on the PC or on the laptop, that would make sense, but yeah, No join requests. No, I understand no join requests, but yeah, it is definitely not letting me go live with you there, Mike. That's let's see here. Oh, that's my camera. That's not your camera. Man, I can't. There we go. See if he has popped out of here, so maybe he's going to come back from a different device. Doesn't always play nice when going from PC and laptops to the mobile devices. And if, like I was saying, if that's a mobile device, then that really is not good. I might have to start the whole live stream over or something. I don't know. Sometimes restarting everything, the good old heavy restart. Oh, here we go. We got a message incoming over here on the laptop. Got the 3 dots. I wonder who came up with the 3 dots as the indicator. It comes from the part of grammar, right? I can't remember what the 3 dots are called in the grammatical sense, but I'm pretty sure that's why they put those, like, when you're typing, because it means there's more to go on. Oh, hey, there we go. Boom. Go live. Whoa. It's making all sorts of fun noises.
What's up?
What's going on, Mike? How you doing?
Doing good. I had to join on my phone. Wouldn't let me do it on the laptop.
Yeah, sometimes it works. Sometimes it doesn't. People are like, yeah, it just popped up on my laptop to give me a problem. And other people, it does that. So I really, unfortunately, don't have an answer for you. But thank you for making that switch and joining me tonight, nonetheless.
Yeah. Thank you for the invite. Appreciate it.
Yeah, and thank you again for sending over a small arsenal of mead and beer for me to enjoy and get to experience some of your guys' products. It's always a fun thing to do when I talk to new to me mead makers.
Yeah, absolutely.
So why don't you start off with a little bit of history, give us a little bit of your background, how long you've been homebrewing, how long the meadery's been around, that little type of stuff. We'll go from there.
Yeah, sounds good. Homebrewing since 2009. I probably made the first mead in 2010. Similar story to a lot of homebrewers. Probably found a couple of mead recipes in the homebrew books and started messing around with it. Made a good one on the second try. And, just was blown away by it and just, shared it with family and friends. And, it was just, there was nothing like it. Back then you could only get like a few meads. At least where I'm from, you could only get a couple meads of the same ones in the liquor stores. And so, making something that was kind of semi-sweet, still had all the honey character, but wasn't, blowing you out of the water with sweetness, and was just, so just started, kind of the seed was planted there of like, man, this is like, you can't get it anywhere here like this. And, the mead I made was just a traditional with orange blossom. And it was just, kind of everybody just loved it. And it was kind of like, man, I wish I could, I want to just keep doing this. And, at the time it was kind of not the right time. And then fast forward 10 years and, it was like, had some money built up and my kids were a little older and, decided to just go for it.
The kids being older definitely helps. Having young kids is a very time consuming, both and monetarily consuming venture there.
Yes, absolutely. So just kind of kept homebrewing and, bringing beers and meads to, my friends back home and just sharing and, just kind of, had a buddy in town here. He owns a coffee, he's a coffee roaster and we worked at the same, healthcare system full time and he was doing his coffee passion on the side. He had a coffee bar, roasting coffee and so like he was a huge inspiration for me, seeing him do that while also having a full-time job. And then that was kind of where it clicked with me, where I was like, you know what, I can get this thing started and see what happens. And then here
Yeah.
we are we're about 3.5 years later, and I just quit my full-time job in August. So took a while.
There you go. So you're all in.
Yeah, I'm all in now. Yeah, once we finally got into about a mile from we got a tasting room now, and
Oh, okay.
came with a bought a 2-barrel brewing system that was in the front of it. The
Oh,
brewery that was here. There was a brewery here, and they scaled up, moved to a bigger space with a bigger brewing system about a mile south. So then when that opened up, I love beer, and I was wanting to brew beer again as well. So it was just kind of
yeah.
like this natural fit. Get a 2,500 square foot taste room and a 2-barrel brewing system, and now I have a tasting room for all the mead, all the beer now, and we do cocktails do some mead cocktails and different honeys
Yeah.
and stuff like that. So,
So you have your mead facility, the production facility has just your winery license, and you've got a brewery license for your tap room, so you can make both products and sell everything there at the tap room. That's pretty fucking legit.
yeah, that was kind of how I was drawing it up. And then the state of Missouri is weird with their liquor rules, so you
Oh,
technically can't own a winery and a brewery, but you can have a 22% manufacturer license, which covers both. So I basically have a 22% manufacturer license at both locations. So I can make
gotcha.
mead at my in the brewery and the tasting room here, but
Yeah,
haven't had to yet because I got the production facility down the way there.
got you. Yeah, that's interesting. I'm always intrigued by the different ways that states apply their laws and how it almost seemingly like are counterproductive to like the TTB and stuff, but then they kind of just all make it jive. It seems like there's a like no gray area and a lot of gray area at the same time.
Yeah, it's certainly interesting applying and figuring all this out, and
Yeah,
it's whatever. You get there, you just got to keep going and deal with the paperwork and
exactly.
move on.
Yeah, and that's just it. Like for as many difficult times as issues, for as many difficult issues as people have with regulations and red tape, I also hear stories about people like, no man, I sailed right through it, got somebody who was really nice and worked with me, and it was a piece of cake. So it doesn't have to be a headache and everything. It's if you get somebody that's being difficult, just try to reach out, maybe work with somebody else. Um, like I said, it's all about just hunkering down and doing it though.
Yep, absolutely.
So, um, so you started home brewing 10 years ago, you said. Now you've got a commercial spot. How was it selling mead out of a coffee roaster? That seems kind of uh, counter to like legally wise, I guess.
Yeah, he had his liquor license, and
Oh,
basically because of me, it was kind of like, like I said, he was kind of my inspiration to get started. He was interested in coffee mead, so like my first mead that I sold to a commercial account was his, and he had coffee mead on tap and at his coffee bar. So he had like 4 taps. 3 of them were different single origin cold brew coffees, and then he had coffee mead as the 4th one.
whoa, that's pretty
Yeah,
cool.
for like a few years. Yeah, it's one of the coolest coffee bars you'll ever go to. Course Coffee Roasters, shout out Brandon.
Heck yeah, man! Shout out, yeah, Course Coffee Roasters. Do you still have are they still like an account for you guys?
They didn't renew most recently. He
Oh,
wanted to just put all his energy into commercial accounts, and it was kind of a niche thing where he was basically just selling my coffee mead, and it's just kind of
yeah.
they had to pivot and just kind of focus on coffee stuff. But I wouldn't be surprised if he brings it back. He's talked about it, so
Who knows what the future holds?
yeah.
That's pretty rad. Well, let's go ahead and get into one of these meads or this beer because I am absolutely dying to try one of these. It's been a long day and I'm in need of a beverage. So, what are you thinking we should try first? You were gracious enough to send over your Swarm Brewing label or brand's honey in the rye, a nice IPA with orange blossom honey and nectron hops. Now, did you brew with the honey, or did you add it in like do like braggot style and add it like post fermentation?
Yeah, so for the beer, so far all the honey's added in the whirlpool.
Okay.
So that one, I have a 2 barrel system, and I added 15 pounds of orange blossom in the whirlpool for that beer. So there's quite a bit of honey in that beer. Um, so yeah, I think it's a really cool rye IPA. I think you'll dig that one. I would probably save that for last.
Okay.
Yeah, the coffee meat's
All
super mellow. So I
right.
mean, you could probably start with that one. I don't think you don't have to worry about your palate getting messed up. So that's actually made with Coarse Coffee Roasters coffee. It's
Awesome.
a used the Arizona orange blossom from
Cool.
Honey Hive Farms,
Ooh,
and then
haven't had their stuff.
Used the Ethiopian Guji coffee from Course. So it's beautiful coffee for making mead with, because it's Ethiopian Guji's like a floral, citrus, those type of notes, goes perfect with orange blossom honey.
Gotcha. I was curious of how to pronounce that. Guji. Is that like a specific variety of coffee, or is that like a like
I'm
a
pretty sure it's a
flavor
region.
profile?
I
Or
think
yeah,
it's
it's okay. It's
like
like
a
a
region.
regional thing.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
If Brandon watches this and I'm wrong, he's gonna make fun of me tomorrow, but it's all good.
What are friends for other than talking a grip of shit to you whenever you're making a silly
Absolutely.
goof
Oh
on
yeah,
yourself there?
he's
Uh,
a good dude.
mm, uh, all right, man. You can use some. What are these, like 75 millimeter long corks or whatever? Holy cow! It's like forever long. All
Yeah,
right, there we
I
go.
usually use whatever's laying around.
That's whatever we got. Hey, that works, man. All right, so let's. Now, do you guys do any filtration? Does not look like we're doing any filtration, which is cool.
No,
I'm
I
a
don't filter.
huge fan of filtering.
Yeah, we don't filter anything.
Shit.
I feel like it. I've done it in my homebrew days and stuff, and honestly, I don't know. I feel like it strips flavor. I like to leave it all in there, and I don't mind a little bit of cloudiness every once in a while.
No.
Most of my barrel aged
So,
stuff just is, if it's all comes clear anyways. It sits there for 6 months to a year.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, let me know what you think.
All right. So definitely has a very. So I was reading the description online, and it said it has kind of like a strawberry type of nose, which I was kind of had me given a little bit of look like a strawberry type of character. I don't think I've ever had that from a coffee mead before, but sure enough, there's a bit of strawberry characteristics to that. So um,
Yeah, that's from
maybe it's from
that's
that.
from that. It's from the coffee. Absolutely.
Yeah. Now, was the coffee added in primary, or was it just like spiced, bagged, and added in secondary?
Yeah, secondary. I had
Excellent.
coffee like I had coffee lots of different ways. This was a basically a cold brew extract. So I made like a really strong cold brew basically, and then secondary, added in secondary.
I have to say, I'm not a big coffee guy. I'm not a big coffee drinker, but that is actually pretty legit. I was really concerned because a lot of coffee meats have kind of like a vegetal taste to me. Um, certainly the ones when they ferment with the coffee in there almost always taste that way to me. Um, then the ones when they're added in secondary, it almost always depends on the coffee blend. But this is actually very pleasant. I don't know if it's supposed to be like lightly sparkling or not, but it is wonderful on the palate that way. I'm actually really enjoying this. This is um, light and refreshing, just as you were saying.
Yeah, I mean there shouldn't be any. If there's bubbles in it, it's probably because it got shaken up quite a bit in
And
transport. So sorry
tripping,
about
yeah.
that.
Hey, no worries.
Yeah, I
It,
have
like I
those.
said, it doesn't.
I got the wine shipping boxes where they're like, the bottles are on their side. I'm sure it
Yeah,
took a pretty good beating getting over there. So
yeah. I was actually surprised at how fast it got here, to be honest with you. But um, yeah, no, those are very standard mead shipping bottles. It. Like you said, I think it just got a bit shaken up or whatever. So TK must not enjoy stouts. What are you talking about, Anthony? I enjoy nothing but stouts all the time. It's like my favorites. No, but this is really wonderful. Like I'm really, like I said, I'm perplexed by this unique flavor profile that I've never gotten from a coffee mead before. And to be fair, I don't really seek them out too much, but this is I'm highly impressed at the flavor that you've gotten out of this. Is this a regular offering that you guys do, or let me take a
This
step back?
is Yeah, this is like our newest, one of our newest meads. We've done, like I said, like a million coffee meads with Course, not a million, but a lot. So like, me and him kind of nerd out on coffee and there's so many different honeys you can get. So usually every batch, this other coffee mead that I've made called Stay the Course. It's that one is lightly carbonated, and we do those in the
Mhm.
500 ml bottles, and we would switch the honey. Basically he'd get like some really awesome funky coffee in, and we'd nerd out about it, and then I'd try to figure out what honey I wanted to use with it, and then that would be it for that 35 gallon batch.
Yeah.
And then once we sold out of that, he'd get another coffee in, and I'd do a different honey combination. And so we would just do that every batch. And I actually won a gold medal, but won a gold medal for
Toot
coffee
your own
mead.
horn. Yeah.
Yeah. Don't mean to toot my own horn. It's more about Brandon's coffee too. I want to shout him out. But we won a Mazer Cup gold medal last year for the coffee mead, the Stay the Course coffee mead.
Legit.
Yeah, that one was with his Java and avocado blossom, a blend of avocado and buckwheat, and it
Awesome.
was super unique. So submitted that one and won that spice herb category, got gold medal. So that was really cool. And
Heck
then I just
yeah.
wanted to make that kind of series of meads that one. We have like draft meads basically that are more bubbles. They're all like
Yeah.
8% alcohol. So I wanted to make something a little stronger with coffee. So this one's around 12% range. And
It's
I've
very
honestly been,
smooth too. There's
yeah,
no
thank you.
Yeah, there's no fusel alcohols. I mean, there's nothing that even would hint that this is, 12.5%, which I'm really digging.
Yeah.
We had a question from Drinking Horn Meadery. They're up in Flagstaff, Arizona. They're curious as to where your orange blossom honey came from again. You said it, but I couldn't remember. I hadn't heard of those guys before.
Honey Hive Farms in Peoria,
Hmm.
Arizona.
Honey Hive Farms down in Peoria. Yeah, I lived in Arizona for about 20 years and thought I'd heard of almost all the honey suppliers there, but that's a new one for me. So cool. Check
Let me
those
make sure
guys
it's
out.
Honey Hive.
Oh,
I don't want to tell you the wrong thing,
oh
but I'm
yeah.
pretty sure it's Honey Hive.
Oh no, I believe you. It's such a big place. I'm sure I could easily miss a honey supply or two. I'm just being a smart ass.
Yeah, he's got. I haven't messed around with his other honeys honestly. But he's got a mesquite. He's got like cactus. He's got something called cat's claw or something.
Yeah,
Which I
cat's
have not.
claws.
You've messed
I tried it.
around with cat's claw?
It wasn't my favorite. I didn't care for it so much. I like the desert honeys for me are not like where it's at. Like the mesquite honey and the cat's claw. Um, I don't know. It's just not my thing. And a lot of the times, like Arizona orange blossom honey is kind of hit or miss. It can produce some of the best orange blossom honey, or it's kind of just average orange blossom honey, which is really I think it's weird because like all Mexican orange blossom honey I think is like, almost has this really um, broader, sweeter profile to it, but it's almost consistent versus any of the state ones like California, Florida. I won't ever get Florida orange blossom honey. The handful of times I've had it, it was just very. Um, I I always use peculiar. It didn't taste like any other orange blossom honey I had, and not in a good way. So I'm sure there's good uses for it. It's just um, not my preference.
Yeah, I'm really happy with this honey. Up to this
Oh, I
point,
would.
or for orange blossom, I was before this is the first time I've gotten orange blossom from a single source. I was using Dutch Gold, and I didn't really know what to expect going to single beekeeper honey from Arizona, but I think it turned out wonderful, and it's turned out we've done some barrel aged meads with it as well as, and it's just
Yeah,
been nice, just a nice light citrusy note and
yeah,
floral and all that.
yeah. So that was one of the things that I also saw on your website and then your Instagram stuff is you have a coming straight out the gate with a barrel aged mead program. That's usually something people work up to. How did you guys um how did you come to this decision to start out the gate with barrel aged mead? That's usually like again, it's time consuming. So it's
cool that you came out the gate with that.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a funny story, actually. That'd be a good one to tell. So, I basically made a big traditional orange blossom, like I wanted to basically put out what I had tasted, one of my first recipes in the homebrew days. And I was like, this is just so good. I want to put this one out. And I, just made a bunch of it, and had a buddy in the industry. He actually got me into one of the bigger wine and craft beer stores down here. Shout out Austin.
Cool.
And he called me one day, and he was working there, and he's like, we got like 6 barrels sitting here that are freshly dumped. Do you want to mess with one? And so it was kind of like, I'm kind of like the type of guy that's like, I like to try, just experiment and whatever. So I didn't even have a barrel rack. I just went there, loaded it in the minivan, took it back, bought some cinder blocks at Lowe's because I didn't have any money, put that bad boy on the cinder blocks and filled it up. And it crushed. And that's when I was like, all right, let's get some more barrels and let's do some interesting stuff here. So it's just kind of took off from there.
And how long were you making the meads before you started releasing them to the public? Because as I understand it, you're not technically allowed to brew anything until you have your license. So unless we're going.
Yeah, I actually, I'm not a big rule follower, but I actually followed the rules on that one. I did. I was like, I don't want to mess around with this. I think we leased a space like October of 2020, and then by the time the licenses and all that stuff was done, we sold our first mead June of 21. So basically the time from leasing the space to actually selling a mead, it took like a good 7-8 months or something like that.
So
right. So
I got you. So your production facility has been open since 21, but the tap room just opened earlier this year.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we just opened this tasting room.
Okay.
Yeah, up until this point, I've been selling to like stores, bottle shops, doing farmers markets and festivals and stuff. So we didn't really.
Got you.
We had last year. We had a very tiny, put a bar in basically in the barrel room, and had a couple tables in there, and just kind of like, got our retail sales licenses, buy the drink and all that, and started having community come in. But it was like Friday nights 4 to 8. It was just kind of like let's try this out for a while and see how it goes. And then once this place opened up, we knew this place was going to open up in October 2023, and then had a lot of renovation time on it, and then we opened June 15th of 2024. So
all right, man.
Yeah.
So you guys are out there crushing it now, and you guys are in St. Charles, Missouri.
Yeah,
right?
We're in St. Charles, Missouri. Yep.
Which is give us non-locals kind of
just west of St. Louis, about 25-30 minutes west of St. Louis.
Gotcha. That's kind of what I was figuring. So you got some company out in that area. There's a few meaderies. Have you done any collabs with any of those other spots out there?
I have not yet. I know Burnt Barrel's out here. We've chatted about it through messaging and stuff, but just hasn't happened yet.
Nathan's a beast. I love that dude.
Yeah. And I met Scott Kurtz. Met with Scott Kurtz. Shout out Scott Kurtz. Recently, he makes mead for Bluewood Brewery, like Shoehorn, some other breweries. Like he's contract mead maker, and he's really talented. He was like first person to message me and congratulate me on winning some awards. He's also wins a lot of awards and stuff. He's a beast in the industry too. He's out there,
Excellent.
going to all these places and making some great meads. So, so we've talked about doing a collab, and we might be doing one here in a couple months actually. But other than
Very
that,
cool.
a lot of my collabs are with
non-mead
just
people.
Yeah, it's like Course Coffee Roasters. I did a beer collab with a music shop in town here. He owns a music shop and he builds guitars. And he was one of the first people to like buy mead from me at Course Coffee Roasters. And then 3 years later, I'm aging a beer on guitar wood, and he's playing the guitar on stage at the beer release that was made out of the same piece of wood, right? Like, so just stuff like that's like really cool to me.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm real big on like community, and like local everything. Like all my, we don't sell, all our cocktails are made with local spirits, from local distilleries. Ambition is a mead that I made. It's a barrel aged mead, and I put it in 4 different barrels, and they were all local barrels, and it was made with Missouri honey. Um, just like to, we serve local coffee. We serve coarse coffee in here. We just bought an espresso machine, so that'll be like a nice NA option for people. I'm
Hell
sure.
yeah.
I'm sure I'm leaving something out. Oh, Tango Argentina food. So we serve only the best empanadas at the Mead Hall from Tango Argentina food. Shout out Stella and Hector.
Hell yeah. I don't believe I've ever had an authentic Argentinian empanada. I sound like I kind of feel like I'm missing out now.
Oh, it's killer. They've been serving empanadas in the St. Louis area for like 30 years. So
I know where I'm going as soon as I land in St. Louis the next time. I'm heading straight there. uh, but that's really cool. I'm a huge fan of the non-traditional types of collabs, like you're saying with the guitar wood, and then with the coffee roaster. I've had mead collab from like musicians and meaderies, and meadery in a tattoo shop. That's pretty cool. But meadery and a guitar wood, that's a first one. That's a first for me. I'd love to. Is that something you guys still have around, or was that like a one-off, or how'd that go?
yeah, it's probably gonna be year round. It's actually a beer. It's an amber lager that we aged on Western red cedar. So he got like a bunch of this Western red cedar to build guitars with, and
cool.
So he was like, he wanted to do something like this, and I went over there and he started shaving pieces of wood off all his wood, and we were kind of smelling and seeing what was going on. And Western red cedar was the winner, so it was lagered on Western red cedar for almost 4 months, and then during that time he was building the guitar out of it, and then played it at our beer release. It was pretty cool.
And lagering, is that like so it was a super low temperature? Does that not infuse a bunch of, like, cedar can be a pretty strong flavor profile? Growing up in the Pacific Northwest, cedar
I got
is
it off the
that
cedar.
smells like home.
Yeah, I got it off the. See, I was tasting it, and I got it off the cedar after a certain. I'd have to look at my notes to see when I actually pulled it off of there, but I got it off there, and then it just sat cold till he had the guitar ready. But yeah, it was definitely. It's a nice cedar though. It's more like kind of just floral and pleasant.
Oh, that sounds so
not
cool.
too. Yeah, it wasn't not too powerful. It wasn't blowing you out of the water or anything like that. So.
Yeah, no, I had a stinging nettle barley wine one time, and that was super wild. So anything like that has like Northwest type of ingredients in here, I'm here for that. So yeah, a cedar red, I'm down. So I'm gonna go ahead and jump into this Currents as well. Speaking of barrel aged mead, so how did this one come to be? And I love your labels too. Shout out to whoever your artist is. These like kind of like 70s cartoony looking labels are freaking rad.
Thank you. Yeah, shout out Jordan Mueller. He's a local artist. He's just a beast. He's an amazing artist. And then Sarah Hausman does the more illustrative labels, like that coffee one and some other stuff that's more illustrative. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that is legit. And good choice on the foil on the bee and the sun. Yeah, that's a really cool label. I like that a lot.
Thank you. Yeah, so Currents, this is also kind of a weird way, how I got to this mead. So for some reason, I thought it was a good idea to buy a Hungarian oak barrel, a new one. I just was like, hey, nobody's using them. And, I shop a lot from More Wine Pro, and they I guess, shipped a boatload over to the States, and we're selling them out of California. So I just kind of took a risk on it, and I was just like, let's just get one and see what happens. And I actually aged a traditional orange blossom in it the first run through.
Okay.
And I didn't really care for the character of it. I mean, but then doing more research on Hungarian oak, they recommended using that it plays well with fruit. And I was just like, all right, well, what can I put in this barrel next? I'm going to do something with fruit. And I hadn't done a black currant mead yet, but I was really interested in black currants, so went ahead and went for it, and I think it turned out pretty pretty nice.
The oak on this nose is just insane straight out the gate, but then it's like also pretty well balanced with the that astringency of the black currants. Like I'm here for the nose on this. I had a barrel aged black currant mead the other day that was, I felt like I was like sucking on barrel staves. There was so much oak, and like I really like to oak my stuff. Like I put oak in primary and everything, and through the whole process. And this thing was just ridiculous oak. But yeah, I agree with my buddy Anthony down here. Says it's awesome. He supports local and promotes them along with his meads. Now, do you guys do consignment with like these local artists in your meadery as well? Like have like paintings and CDs that people can buy? CDs. Look how old I am. Do you like support artists in that way as well?
Yeah, I guess not really. I mean, like, I carry his coffee here, Course's coffee here.
Definitely.
I think it was a good promotion for Pete from Driftwood Music to be here, and like we kind of co-promoted it together. So I hope it, brought people to his music shop.
Heck yeah.
Frontier Perk Cafe just joined. Shout out Frontier Perk. I get quiches from them for our brunches. We're trying to do some brunches here, so yeah, they're another local business. So I don't know. I guess not. I mean, I don't know. Like, I didn't think about that though. Thank you for bringing that up. Maybe I'll do something like that. That coffee mead actually, Sarah Houseman did that one, and she gave me the original artwork. And it had that. She used that like gold foil crayon on the sun and the bee. And so like when I was talking to my label printers, I was like, hey, can you mimic this on a label somehow? Like I really want this gold like shiny foil. And so that was the result on that label.
Yeah, again, that's pretty legit. I love the gold foil on there. There's a brewery in Phoenix called Wren House, and they have a label that looks, the sun on and the bee and everything looks very similar to that. It's almost nostalgic how similar that label looks. It's very cool. Now this is amazing. The nose on it is, for being a semi-sweet mead, it is very sweet forward. It's what kind of currants did you use? Did you use like berries or concentrate?
I use black currant puree for the
puree. Okay. Yep. Shout out Current C.
Shout out Fierce Fruit, I think is where I got it from.
Fierce Fruit. I interviewed a guy who runs a currant place called Current C, so I always hope that people grab his stuff.
Oh, nice, man. I'll write that down. Yeah, I didn't really know how to get my hands on any, so I just went with the puree for this one.
Yeah, no, this guy, he actually is the reason why we can even get currants in America anymore. He lobbied for them to be legal after like almost 100-year ban and everything. It's a pretty cool thing. So yeah, check them out. Current C, like the letter C.
All right.
But no, the nose on this is wonderful. It's not quite as dark and astringent as it was coming out of the bottle. Out of the bottle it was focusing the tannins and the tartness, but now it's much more robust. There's a lot more going on in there, and I'm really digging it. It almost smells candy-ish, but like not like artificial candy, but like some sort of like natural like sugared like dried fruit or something like that. It's really pleasant.
Thank you.
That is a lot of Hungarian oak. I like it though.
It works.
It's
I think it works well with this mead. I really do.
It's funny because it imparts more flavor than it does tannic presence. It's got a really nice balance between it's got a light astringency, again, kind of like a lighter or medium developing tannic presence there. The sweetness level, again, definitely in that semi-sweet range. This is definitely crushable. What are we talking about here? 13, 14%?
I believe it's around 12%, I believe.
Yeah. What are you using? 71B? D47?
71B for all my orange blossom stuff, so that was a 71B.
Gosh, and what kind of temperature control do you guys have? Jacketed tanks, or do you just use ambient temperature control?
Yeah, I got a jacketed tank with a big chiller, Chili Max 90, that can I can really dial in the temperature.
Heck yeah. Yeah, it definitely doesn't taste off or funky or anything. You definitely have your system well tuned there. I'm envious of temperature control. I ambient ferment all my stuff, so I'm constantly, depending on the time of the year it is, changing my yeast based on how warm it's going to be over the next 6 to 8 weeks.
Yeah, gotcha. Yeah, it's a nice setup. I can also heat, so like, those yeast that like it warm, play around with those as well. So
Have you ever done a Kveik yeast then?
yeah, I like
Ooh,
Kveik yeast. I like Boss quite a bit actually.
a man of my own heart. The only awards that I've won in mead making have all been with Vike, Voss Kveik yeast. I did an outdoor ferment when I was in Arizona, and it got up to like 115 or 16 like air temperature out there. I think the meat itself got up to about 103, 104, and I was just like blown away at how like quick it fermented. I think the whole thing was done in like less than 10 days. It was wild.
Yeah, that's another good thing about it, right? It works quick.
Yeah, no, and actually the part that I like, the quickness part is really convenient, but the part that I actually enjoy the most is that it seems to ferment the cleanest, like the most neutral of any. Like if you ferment it at a colder temperature, it definitely kind of imparts some more, different phenols in there. But like when you ferment it really hot, it just comes out nice and clean, and that's like I don't know enough. I haven't played with enough yeast and different flavor profiles to be able to like dial in which yeasts will pair better with different flavors. I can go read Ken Schramm's book, or I can go do, you know, ask everybody what they use. But it's one of those things where you experiment with it, and I just haven't done that experience. But so I actually just prefer a clean ferment, and I feel like I get that very, very well with a hot Kveik yeast.
Nice. Yeah, I think when I started using it, I was in the 90s, and then I moved to the 80s, and I think my latest one, I actually got down into like the upper 70s. Just I don't know, just playing around with it, and I feel like
Yeah, oh,
I kind of like
absolutely.
it. I kind of like it there.
And that's again another really cool part of it. You can take it all the way down to 70 degrees, or you can take it all the way up to like 105. How many yeasts have a 45-degree temperature variance?
Oh yeah, yeah. No, it's amazing yeast. Plays well with orange blossom too, with all the kind of citrusy notes.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm a huge fan of any of the hot ferment type stuff. You
I'm
you
pretty
said
sure
you
that coffee mead that won the medal was I used Lutra on that one. I'm almost positive of it. So I mean, just they're good yeasts.
Lucia,
And
that's the hothead.
Lutra is Hothead's a different one. Lutra is like
Oh,
the real clean one. So it
I
was
need to
just kind
try
of
that one
like,
too.
yeah, it's popular in the brewing world. It's supposed to just be super clean ferment, which when I was making a coffee mead with two really dark, flavorful honeys, I was like, I wasn't really concerned. I didn't really care to have yeast character in there. I just wanted to get the honey and the coffee coming through.
Yeah. What's your thoughts on this one?
Me?
Yeah.
I
What?
personally love it. I mean, it's like it starts out with the tart cranberry, goes into some blackberry. I like the sweetness level. I don't think it's too sweet. I think the tartness plays with the sweetness level. I think the tannins come in the finish for me mostly,
Mhm.
and then it's just smooth as silk. Like you can tell it's been in a barrel for a really long time. And
Absolutely.
I'm super happy with it because I did not like I was not a big fan of the character coming from that barrel from a traditional mead. So,
Oh,
uh,
oh,
but I think also it was since it was a second use. I think that helped. It just like
mellow it out a little bit.
yeah, I think it just mellowed the barrel out a little bit, and now it's like it just worked really well to not be
Yeah.
over the top with that kind of. It kind of had like a little cedar note going on in the with the first mead, and you
Mm.
know. So, anyways, that's
Yeah.
and then I think I let it sit with sulfite, like a sulfite. I filled it up with water and let it sit for a little bit, and then filled it again. And it was a very powerful new oak barrel. I don't know that I would
How
ever
big
buy
of a
a
barrel?
Hungarian oak barrel again. What's that?
How big of a barrel?
It's a 60-gallon.
So it was a big boy.
Yeah. So actually, this mead, I pulled 20 gallons 15 went into a red corn bourbon barrel from Woodhat. It's another local distillery. They're about half hour west of me. They like nerd out on corn and stuff. They're like a really cool distillery. Shout out Woodhat.
Nice.
And so I put 15 gallons in there, and then I got 5 gallons in a carboy. And there's another local distillery here called Blacksmith.
Oh.
Shout out Russ from Blacksmith. They make a whiskey called Snow Day, and it's got Amburana, yellow birch staves in it. So it's got, but I love it because sometimes Amburana can just be like just this crazy overpowering thing, and his whiskey just is the perfect balance of that cinnamon brown sugar note and that whiskey from the Amburana. So I talked him into giving me some of his staves that he had soaking in his whiskey, and then I put that in that 5-gallon batch. So we'll see what I was reading that. I was trying to figure out like what goes well with black currants. Yeah. And then kind of just somebody was saying cinnamon, so I was like, well, let's throw these Amburana staves from Russ's whiskey in there and see what happens. So
Amburana wood is like, Amburana wood is much like many things from Brazil. It's very strong in character.
Yeah, it's like I would always get asked all the time, like, you're gonna mess around with Amburana, you're gonna mess around with Amburana, and I never really like thought about it. You know, I wasn't too excited about it. I mean, I figured I would someday.
It's so
but when
easy
I saw,
to
like, you know,
overdo.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, just I put some of the staves in the carboy. I mean, I'll probably just transfer it off the second I feel like it's just too much. But yeah. So we'll see what happens. I like to experiment.
Oh no, absolutely. It's just, like you said, you just have to pay attention to it and mind it, because if you let it, you forget about it, it could get away from you in a second. Next thing you know, you're, like you said, you're basically drinking Amburana stabs that have a little bit of mead in them.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, these are second use, so they are, hopefully a lot of that character went into his whiskey, and then I'm just getting that beautiful character from his whiskey and the mead.
So what are you thinking about repurposing that Hungarian oak barrel for? Give it to you got to have a beer friend or a mead or distillery friend that can do something cool with it.
Well, that's the beauty of owning a brewery now, is I can repurpose it over here at the brewery and just put something interesting in there. So now I got a black currant.
You could do a cool trade with somebody with it, though. You could have somebody have camera's shake. You could have somebody doing a really cool, whiskey or rum or something aged in a mead barrel. That's a true mead barrel, because that's a first and second use mead barrel. You don't see that all out there. I mean, especially in the 60 gallon. I mean, I've talked to a lot of mead makers around the country, and I think you're probably in a very small, very cool circle of people who have bought in that big of barrels brand new and used them. So hey, kudos to you for that.
Oh yeah, no, it's a lot of fun. I mean, I'm having a blast with the barrels. I think this barrel's still got life left in it. I'm gonna fill it again and see what happens. And I think we'll keep using it, and then we'll see what happens.
We don't share.
We don't share. No, the Woodhat barrel actually. I mean, you brought it up, so I'll talk about it. But the Woodhat barrel that I put this mead into, which is like basically it's ready right now. It's been in there for about 4 months or so, and it's a 15-gallon barrel. So tasting it, stuff's starting to, it's starting to really, I'm starting to be happy with it. But anyways, the plan is bottle that up, so it's a bourbon barrel aged black currant mead, and then I'm gonna drive the barrel back out to Woodhat, and they're gonna fill it with whiskey. So then we'll have a black currant finished bourbon. Only 15 gallons, not 60, but it's fun to play around with stuff like that, see what happens. And I told him, I'm excited about it. I said, if you guys don't like it, I'll buy all the bottles from you, and we'll drink it.
Nope.
We'll drink it over here.
One of the really cool things, I think, if we talk about smaller size barrels, even going down to like firkins and doing like super small, 1 to 3 gallon batches, and having them, different variants of the same batch, and I'm a huge fan of that. I went to one of the local breweries down there when I was in Phoenix. Still had firkin Fridays. Every Friday they would bring out their firkin and set it down. It had some experimental flavor in it and stuff. So I'm a huge fan for those small ferment, small barrel aging, all that type of stuff. Have you ever thought about fermenting inside your oak barrel. I know it's not always the easiest thing, but that sounds like a really cool thing too. I've had a couple meads recently that were fermented inside, like in a wood barrel, and man, it's such a unique. It adds a unique characteristic to it.
Yeah, I honestly haven't thought about that personally, but I'm kind of open to anything. So, like, I mean, I wouldn't put it past trying it at some point.
Uh,
Sounds cool.
yeah, no. Again, you sound like you're very much into doing the not conventional stuff. So I think that'd be a really cool thing for you guys to try. And both
Nice.
of your meads, again, I'm a huge fan of both of these. It's not what I was expecting at all in the best, most positive connotation of that phrase possible.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
So what do you guys, what's next down the line from you guys? You got your commercial space open just, within the past, 6, 7, 8 months or so. You got a pool. I can't tell if it's a pool and dart league or you just have like pool night or billiards and darts nights or what. How's that going? Like what's the next plan for expanding the tap room? Because that seems to be like the real like strong focus for you guys right now.
Yeah. So I have this espresso machine that I found in an auction. So I really want to get kind of coffee drinks going here. Provide. I got. Like I said, my good friend is the best roaster I know, and so using his coffee's no brainer. Got the espresso machine. One of my bartenders, shout out Andrew, also shout out Jake.
Yes.
Andrew started. He works at Course as well, coffee. So like the dude, he knows everything there is to know about coffee, and so we'll be able to play around with different honeys and make really interesting drinks with mead and just. It's gonna be crazy. So I just enjoy the creative aspect of everything. So I mean, having a meadery, having a brewery, and be able to like combine those. We just brewed our first braggot actually, which I'm sure you're familiar with.
Not yours personally, but I'm familiar with braggots. I wish I was familiar with yours. It sounds delicious, I'm sure.
Yeah. So we went pretty it's I wanted something approachable. So I kind of designed the recipe like with I didn't use any like herbs or spices or anything. Used Maris Otter malt and so I kind of doubled up on some crystal malts and specialty malts to so there'd be that residual sweetness there since I figured the honey was going to ferment all the way out. But it's definitely got a big honey forward note. It's I think it finished at like 10:06, so it tastes sweeter than it is, according to my hydrometer sample, right? So it's like it kind of dried out further than I thought, but drinking it, it's actually not. It kind of drinks like semi-sweet. I think it's the honey character that's kind of deceiving and making you think it's sweeter than it really is.
It's got a higher perceived sweetness than its actual sweetness.
Right. Yeah, it doesn't measure. Like it almost tastes like I just brewed an extra special bitter that finished. It's a lot sweeter beer, but you're drinking them side by side, and it's like it almost drinks as sweet as that, but it's not. But now that I have this base recipe, like I really like it, and I've shared it with a bunch of people. We have a membership program. Shout out Hive members. Yeah. So we're sharing it with all the members, and a lot of great feedback. And I'm happy because now I have a base braggot recipe that I can like switch the honey out, add some darker malts, start add spices and herbs. I want to do that, and just kind of get crazy with it. So
I would love to see that. That's one thing that I really, and again, I think unfortunately by design of, that most meaderies don't have. Access to brewing licenses, and most states don't, as far as I know, anyway, don't allow for this really cool 22% license or something in that same type of vein. So it's really cool. I would love to see somebody on a commercial scale being able to go out and produce a line of braggots, because you see them occasionally, here and there commercially, but it's certainly amongst the rarest of the commercial varieties do you see. Which is, again, like I said, unfortunate. Speaking of commercial, do you drink a lot of commercial mead from other places? I know you had mentioned initially, like, trying meads out there. You couldn't really find a whole lot of them. I'm assuming you're speaking of like Dansk Mod with the, the ones in the ceramic bottles. They got like a 19% one for their Viking's Blood, 19% hibiscus mead that's fortified with vodka. It's hard to drink, to
Mead.
be honest with you.
Yeah, the mead world is interesting, right? Because it's like, you can have three people bring three different bottles in, or three different people bring bottles of mead in here, and we're all sampling them, and they're just it's just all over the place, right?
Yeah.
So I think it's just like whatever you're into, everybody likes something different. Everybody prefers a different sweetness level. Some people like dry meads. My meads are semi-sweet. Like they just have I like to have the honey character there, but I want to also be able to drink a lot of it, right? Like drink more than like a small taster. And it's tough for me to drink mead that's that syrupy sweet stuff, so I just don't make any mead like that. And I feel like there's plenty of meaderies that have that. So I'm trying to do something a little different, maybe a little more balanced with the sweetness level and stuff. That's just my preference, I mean,
absolutely.
That's just what I'm making. I don't really make any dry meads either, just because I feel like you dry it out too much and you're kind of leaving that. It's just like, no, I don't think that's. I think it's harder to find a dry mead than it is a sweet mead for sure.
Really?
I just like, at least around here, there's a lot of sweet mead around here. So I don't know. I don't. I'm not the one to like.
Well, you are fairly close to the sugar belt, so I mean, you're going to have like the Shrams and the what was it, bee nectars and a lot of that kind of heavier, like you said, the sweeter, heavier stuff. I've never seen a place that kind of focuses on the semi-sweet. That's really cool. And I think, my experience, a lot of people, they make what they like to drink, which is really, I guess, what it's all about, because if you're not happy with the product, you're not going to have fun selling it and everything. So if you don't like to drink it, it's kind of pointless to make it. And I actually feel like you're kind of serving an underserved market in the mead world, because I agree with you. I think the sweet meads are very well represented in the market out there, and I think the dry meads are even more well represented, just kind of more regionally. They don't get as much like national exposure, but semi-sweet meads are really well balanced mead that doesn't have it still serves that 12 to 14% range, but doesn't have that like really full overly filling type of mouthfeel and characteristic to it. Like, I think that's the most underserved market. So again, kudos to you guys for doing that. I think based on these two meads, if everything else is in the same vein, anybody out there who's watching this, I unfortunately, I don't think you guys are on Vino Shipper. I mean, unfortunately for us watching, but anybody in the area, please go stop by and grab some of these meads. These are absolutely delightful.
Yeah, we are on Vino Shipper. We just don't really promote it too much. Yeah. I
just didn't see it on your website, so I didn't think to go actually on Vino Shipper and look. My bad.
Yeah, no, it's all good. Yeah, I mean, honestly, like I haven't really promoted the online stuff. I plan to once we get our production kind of like, we have more mead basically, which will be soon. I got a friend of mine that I just brought him on to help me do some brewing and working with me. And shout out Kyle Matthias. Everybody knows who he is. He's an amazing brewer. And so just having him has just been like a weight lifted off my shoulders. And dude's got he's just a super knowledgeable and awesome guy as well. So it's going to be a big help. It's going to be a big help for me, and it'll help me get more meat out there and scale up the brewery. Is also you were asking what one of the next things we want to do. We want to scale up, So it's two barrel system is tough. It goes quick and so I figure out a way to make more of it.
Yeah. We had somebody pop in here. Argos1964 says, enjoying a glass of your Sunny while we listen. Thank you guys for listening. Appreciate that. What was Sunny? That sounds delicious. I love the name. It has a nice, bright, vibrant feel.
Yeah, Sunny was actually the first mead we released. It's a
snap.
It's a draft mead. So it's got some bubbles. It's lighter. It's 8% alcohol. It's just 100% orange blossom, easy drinking, kind of, semi-sweet, good approachable mead for people that are new to mead. You know, it's a good one to put in front of them, and then they kind of, you know, it's the gateway drug, and then they get into now they're into barrel aged stuff all of a sudden, you know, because they go down the line, and so yeah, basically I sent you the higher alcohol meads, but we have like a line of 8% meads that are on draft at our tasting room, and that has its, you know, people love that as well. So it's kind of like we have kind of basically two lines: the 8% draft meads, and then we have the 12 to 14% barrel aged meads, and
Yeah.
some people love both. Some people come in and drink the draft mead, and some people come in and drink the only barrel aged stuff. So it's just having something for everybody. I think, you know, it's good.
Absolutely. And then I again, kudos to your forethought for going towards the NA beverages, because I work at a meadery here in Richmond, in the Richmond area, and that's actually a question we've been getting significantly in significantly increasing rate over the past at least 6 months. Is, you know, what kind of NA options do you have? I think just even the last weekend that I was there, I had 2 people ask me in just a 5-hour shift about NA options and stuff. So I think that's a really cool option, especially for the cafe, because not only is it NA options, it's a line of, you know, an entire product line. So you bring an entire new customer base in who could have just been there for that, who are also drinkers. So I mean, it's a brilliant crossover. So again, kudos to you for that.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I think it makes a lot of sense if, you know, we'll have people come in here and there's 10 people all playing board games or a board game together, and you might have 2 that they don't drink or they don't feel like drinking that day, or they got, you know, something going on, so they can have a coffee drink or a latte, a cup of coffee, and everybody else can drink, and something for everybody.
Yeah, it doesn't even have to be that they don't drink. They're just not drinking that day. You know, maybe they're the designated driver. Maybe they just don't even want to drink that day. They're just coming for some cool coffee, and they want to support you because they like you guys as a business and everything. Like, no, solid call on that. I think that's actually officially the first meadery I've seen with an espresso maker. I've seen lots of meaderies with slushy machines. I have not seen any meaderies with espresso machines.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, you guys. I say open like a whole cafe line. I think that would be freaking great. What's your personal favorite style to make and to drink? Are you into the stills? Are you more into the sessionable draft hydromels? Where's your personal preference lie?
I'm definitely more into the stills, higher alcohol, barrel aged stuff. That's just, you know, I mean, I love all of it. I think it's all great, and the lower alcohol stuff definitely serves a purpose. It's great for, like, you know, hot summer day. Sunny's great. You're on, you know, you got stuff to do the rest of the day or whatever. But yeah, I like the bigger meads, you know, and the character and the barrel character and just all this stuff going on. It's beautiful. I don't know. It's wonderful. And but there's a place for all of them, and that's just my preference. And usually if people ask me what my favorite mead is, it's usually the latest one, right? Because it's just the newest and the, you know, something I was excited to bottle, and that's usually what I tell people. It's usually true.
So that's actually, I do get that answer quite a bit, is, you know, when I ask people what their favorite mead is, the current one, whatever's newest, because it's not been worn out yet, or because it's, you know, new and bright and shiny, so to speak. You had mentioned a couple different times about competitions. Do you guys regularly participate in competitions? Was that just kind of like a one-off thing? And what is your view on competitions?
Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of like we entered Mazer Cup. That was the first competition we ever entered last year, and we won a couple medals. I can't see us doing more than, and we entered it this year too, and didn't win anything. I just can't really see us doing any. I mean, we've been talking. Oh, by the way, shout out to my wife Becky, who none of this would exist without her. If I would have gone through this whole thing and not mentioned her name, boy. Anyways, I love you, baby. I know you're watching probably. So, thank
shout
you so
out
much
to supportive spouses. Appreciate you all.
It would be impossible to do any of this stuff without a supportive partner. So, you know, it's just she's been just amazing to me. But yeah,
excellent.
Regarding the awards and stuff, like, not a huge focus for me. I like it. I think the Mazer Cup is cool though. You know, it's just I think if you're gonna pick one, that's the one you pick, right? To enter some mead into.
If you're gonna win, you might as well go for the Daytona 500, baby.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't really know a lot about the other ones. I think we got some emails about some. So,
Mhm.
you know, I don't know. We'll see how, what Becky says. If she wants to do it, we'll do it. But, you know,
The unfortunate thing is that they're really expensive to enter on the commercial side versus on the homebrewer side. Like 10 times the amount. Like a homebrewer entry could be $10, and the commercial entry could be $100. I don't understand quite um, what the reasoning for that is. Somebody who's judged it at a handful of different styles of competitions, from like mead exclusive to beer exclusive that includes mead. Like, I guess it's not exclusive, but different kinds of competitions. Like, I don't understand why they have to charge more um, for the commercial fees, because like I don't see, I don't see the awards being different. You know, you enter the Mazer Cup, the awards for the home brewers look almost identical or damn near identical to the ones for the home brewers. Like the home brewers and the commercial, I mean, everything looks the same. Like I don't get the increase in the price. I think you would get significant more entries if everything was much more reasonably priced. I mean, you're out bottles, so that's, you know, sales loss. You're out money for entry fees, especially if you're trying to enter 2, 3, 4 competition categories within the competition. Now you're out $400 or $500 for shipping. Plus, you know, you're out $200-300 for. It doesn't make any sense to do it.
I can't. I don't know. I can't even comment on it. I mean, I guess they figure they can get a little bit more out of the pros. So
Yeah.
I don't even know.
No, I say stupid shit like that all the time because I think it's ridiculous. I don't expect anybody else to have such a boldly controversial stance on it that I do. But the fact that you enter, I do agree with your statement. If you're going to enter anything, enter the Mazer Cup, because it is like the Cadillac, the highest end. It's the exclusive mead competition of mead competitions, and if you know you're going to do well there, you may as well just include yourself amongst. If you medal, you can include yourself amongst the highest echelons of mead makers out there.
Yeah, that's kind of what our thought was.
And
So
I applaud that. So I'm going to go ahead. Well, before I actually do that, I've had you on for about an hour now. Do you have some more time for us? I have some more. Definitely have a ton more questions, and having a great time talking to you. But I want to respect your time.
Let's go another. Can we go another 10 minutes, and then I probably got to get back in the other room. I actually bartend on Thursday nights because it's usually it has been a slower night for us in the past. But I got one of my bartenders covered for me right now. But
no worries. Well,
yeah, we can go 10 to 15 more minutes.
Let's go. I'll respect your time. Let's do 10 more minutes. I'm going to pop this open, and we're going to go into my rapid fire into the interview questions. So these are just some questions, kind of light and cheeky and fun about you and personality wise. So, Mike Fuson, is it Fuson? Like, 'cause I think Mike Fuson is such a cool name. It's like an action hero name.
Yeah, it's Fuson, unfortunately, right? The Fusion would have been pretty cool. That's all right.
Still a cool name regardless. So what's the first thing you think about when you get up in the morning?
Coffee.
Can I get coffee? Man, you are a coffee guy. I like that. Hot or cold? Not necessarily coffee, just in general.
Hot.
Delicious IPA. Holy cow. Oh my God, bro. Are you serious?
Thanks, man.
Like, that's like disrespectfully delicious. Like, I don't even know how to put that in adequate words. Like, smooth. You get the hoppy bitterness, but it's not overpowering. It's clean. It's smooth. It's bright. It's fresh. Excellent job on that. Toilet paper. Do we hang over the front or go over the back?
Over the front.
Favorite breakfast cereal from when you were a kid?
Cinnamon Toast Crunch, got to be, right?
That's a solid choice. It's a very popular choice too, and great cereal.
I was
Burger,
about to say
pizza.
Basic 4 because I used to eat my dad's cereal as a kid a lot of the time. And I'm like,
Hey,
no,
man,
man, that's just weird.
dude, mine was Cracklin Oat Bran. Like, I just love the basic ass, or like just regular granola, like with milk or yogurt or something. That was like my go-to. Burgers, pizzas, or tacos for your Friday
man, I'm on a burger
night
kick
choice.
lately.
A burger.
Yeah, I'm on a burger kick right now. I love pizza too, but burger right now.
Excellent choice. Yeah, that's my same as well. Burgers are where it's at. Uh, First car.
First car, 81 Pontiac Bonneville, baby. Black.
How
Beautiful. Big
big was
velvet
that boat?
seats.
Holy cow!
Yeah, it was a big old boat. I miss that car so much.
You said I miss that car so much. What was either your worst job or your first job?
Probably both the same. I was a paper boy. I don't know.
Ooh,
It was
that's
actually
rough.
really fun because I was actually like, the kid that was on his BMX, or his bike throwing papers and hitting people's storm doors and throwing them on the roof and stuff like the video game. I just hated
Yeah.
waking up early. Once I got up and
Oh,
rolled all the papers and stuff and I got on my bike, then it was a cool job, but they also made you
yeah.
go around and ask for money from people. I don't know if you ever were a paper boy, but going up to people's house and be like, "Can you please pay me?" So like the money would all go to the paper company, and then whatever was left over that they owed you, they'd make you go to the house and ask for
And
the money from
collect.
people. So
Yeah.
you're going to these same houses, nobody's home or they're not answering, and like it's like, come on, man, I'm 15. I just want to get my Nintendo game.
Exactly. No, I didn't, but I had a really good friend of mine, and I would go over to his house on the weekends and help him deliver the papers. And yes, I remember both of those things. It was cool and fun being able to go out there and slam the papers. But man, yeah, collecting the funds was more than a chore, we'll put it. Um, what about if you could have any superpower? Speaking of a cool name, Mike Fuson. What would your superpower be?
Got to be flying.
So underpicked, but such an awesome power. How awesome would that be to be able to
What
fly?
do people usually pick on that
Um,
one?
you know, it's actually kind of varies from person to person. A lot of people pick like uh, invisibility or like actually, I don't have to say that there's a common one, but I know it's not flying, which I was expecting to be a common one. Now you got me thinking because I don't remember there being a too much of a lot of people picking the same one. But I can pretty much assure you that nobody picked flying. I've had a couple of people pick like teleportation. But no, flying, it's the whole experience, man. Flying through the air and everything like that. Teleport's nice because it's convenient and quick, but the flying is the experience, man. That's the luxury man's way of doing it. I see you,
Hey,
man.
real quick, can I say something?
Yes,
So
absolutely.
you said Drinking Horn was on here, the meadery, Drinking Horn Mead
Yeah,
Hall or
so
whatever.
their actual account was on here, and then Big Nick, he's I believe one of their possibly even their head brewer, not the owner head brewer, but like their head production guy.
Yeah, okay. I just wanted to, I think it's funny. My bartender Jake, he was in Arizona and he discovered Drinking Horn Mead Hall,
Mm.
and it's weird because we're Mead Hall. I have a big ass sign on the front, Mead Hall, and then literally right to the left of us is a dive bar called the Drinking Horn. And so like you look at it, when you look at it on a map, it literally says the
Says the
Drinking
Drinking
Horn and
Horn
then
Mead
Mead Hall
Hall.
right next to it. And then when you go to Arizona or where they're
Yeah,
from, and
their
I'm like,
Flagstaff. Yeah.
I was like, this is wild. So, anyways, I just want to throw that out there because I thought it was just a weird coincidence. But continue.
Yeah, no, yeah, they're a great meadery out there. They again, in your same vein, do a lot of semi-sweet meads. They've, you know, tested as they were saying before, they've tested the realms in sweet and semi-sweet. So if you have the opportunity, definitely go give those guys a shot. What's your current favorite mead or beer you're drinking? Which I think you said was actually whatever's most current.
Uh, I really do like this honey in the rye, the one I sent you. I
This
mean, it's
dude,
just
this
like
is
it just,
delicious. I'm a super fan of this.
yeah. I mean, that one's just kind of stayed my favorite. I think
Um,
like the orange blossom honey characters there. It just works well with the nectar on hops. The rye is it's not over rye, right? It's just like a kind of like a spicy little spice note to it from the rye, but it's
oh
not a
yeah,
lot of rye stuff you
no,
get blasting you with rye. So
no,
I really like that one.
the entire flavor profile is very complementary towards each other. It's actually I have to say this is probably one of my favorite IPAs I had in a while, especially like one that's not like a super hazy hop forward one because those are my personal preference. But like just a well balanced IPA. Man, this is I don't know what you're charging for those, but I'm gonna say you should probably be charging double.
Thank you.
Um, what's your favorite out of town brewery or meadery that you've been to?
Oh man, we used to like going to Martin Brothers Meadery, which they were in Herman,
Mm-hmm.
Missouri. It's like a kind of a wine town, and me and my wife go there once a year, and we would always drive to their meadery and get they had flights where they do a lot of just basically single variety honey traditionals. But it was just, I remember, I think that's the first place I went where I had a flight, and all four were just, different variety of honey, and you could just sit there and taste side by side. So that was kind of my first
Oh,
experience with like tasting the different varieties of honey mead side by side, and it was just so dang good. They're still around. They just moved to Colorado. So, but that was my favorite one to go to around here.
gotcha. All right. Pool or darts?
Got to go pool, but man, I love darts too. But pool is just
More your
where it's
speed?
happening right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, just I don't know. I like the pool. I mean, I like darts too though, so it's a tough one, but I'll give the edge to pool.
All right. All right. Two more questions. If you could star in any movie remake, who would you choose to replace as the actor? Like, I'm a huge Matrix fan. Like, if they were going to remake the Matrix, I would want to be Neo instead of Keanu Reeves.
Ah, man, that's a tough one. Um, you got me. Indiana Jones, I guess. I don't know, going on adventures.
Dude, that's a
Uh,
solid choice right there. And my name is Mike Fuson, and I am a
um, I just like to have fun.
I'm
I'm enjoying life,
a
man.
guy
I
that
don't
likes
know.
to have fun.
I'm
Dude,
enjoying life. How about that? I'm Mike Fuson. I'm enjoying life.
that's a perfect answer, man. We should all be as fortunate to be enjoying our life. Well, thank you so much for joining me tonight. I know you got to get back to work. Um, Anybody out there, please go follow um, Swarm Brewing or Mead Hall Mead Hall 636 on Instagram. Follow all their accounts and everything because these guys are out there doing the semi-sweet meads phenomenal justice. Again, yes, keep up the badass work, Mike and Becky. Apparently somebody's overdue to the new business, but I'm glad that you guys are doing what you're doing. So have a phenomenal night. Hopefully business as well. And I'll definitely love to speak with you again in the future.
Absolutely. Thank you, TK. I really appreciate it.
Oh, well, thank you again as well. Have a great rest of your night. All right, everybody. Thank you for popping in. Subscriptions, follows, all that type of stuff. I see some people have followed me. I greatly appreciate that. Have a wonderful rest of your night. Next week we have another interview coming at you, so I will hopefully see you again Thursdays, 8 p.m. Eastern time, live on Instagram. Have a wonderful night. Peace.